Good day and welcome. Welcome to NAC TV's Coffee Chat. My name is Lyle Watson and I'm pleased to have as our guest today Sergeant Mark Morehouse. Thank you, Mark, for taking the time to join us and spend a little bit of time with us today. And we're going to be talking about scams. And I think, Mark, it's a very timely topic, and I know you've had quite a number of experiences. Some of the information we'll be sharing is out of a little book called The Little Black Book of Scams, and the book is put out by the Competition Bureau of Canada. And if anybody is interested, and I suggest that you get a copy if you are, or maybe even if you aren't interested, it is interesting, and it's knowledge that we should all know about. If you're interested in getting a copy, contact Ginny Barnaby at the Hand Office, and I think she'll be able to either have a copy or direct you to where you can get one. Well, Mark, scams, I guess it's not new to you. You've been around for a long time, but as we go through the program and talk about different types of scams, what is the biggest thing of overcoming scams that we know of?
The biggest thing overcoming scams is knowledge. Prepare yourself, learn as much as you can, because every day there's something new that's coming out. So the big thing is knowledge to get yourself prepared for what's going on.
What's going on? So knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And that affects our life in many, many different ways, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, if we can talk about some of the things that our viewers can arm themselves with against and to be aware of scams, some of the things that are going along in our community, I think I'd like you to comment on, a lot of us think that scams are something that happens in bigger cities, but it's every day, everywhere.
It's here. It's everywhere. It used to be big cities that it happened in all the time, but now it's out into the rural areas, Neepawa, Arden, every place. And we've had scams from the Canada Revenue Agency, bitcoins, people selling stuff on Swap and Shop, just a bit of everything. Everything.
So everybody's affected here in our area as well as in the big cities.
Yes.
We have to be aware of that.
We have to be aware.
Is there a part of our population or demographics that are more susceptible to scams, Mark? Or?
The elderly seems to be, and a lot of the newcomers that come in from the Philippines. They're being hit hard with different things like Bitcoin, or your family's sick. We need money sent back to them now. And with Bitcoin, once you put that money in to see what's going to happen, you can never get it back. It's untraceable. So we've had a couple here where one person lost $8,000 and another one lost $3,000 in the same day. Same day.
Wow.
Yeah, and they went for the Bitcoin to the machine where they had it was in Brandon. So they were told if they don't, then the police will be coming, and a lot of them get scared. It's, if you think that it's a scam or anything like that, by all means, please call us. Don't wait to do it, because it's too late when you do that.
Yeah. And the fact is, a lot of people might think they were scammed, but maybe not know for sure, and they would be hesitant to report it.
That's right.
But that is important too.
It is important, and a lot of people feel embarrassed once it's happened.
Yes.
And especially the elderly, because they think, well, how could I be so stupid? You're not stupid. It's just one of these things that, with the elderly, everybody is so trustworthy, and that's the way they were brought up.
Yes.
Well, it's a different world now.
Yes.
And everybody out there is doing whatever they can to get whatever they want with less exercise of exerting manpower.
Yes, yes. Yeah, our culture's changed.
Our culture's really changed.
Well, we'll like to talk about, the book outlines, gives us a brief information on about 12 different types of scams, and I'm sure there's more out there, and you're probably familiar with others too. But I think we'd like to just kind of touch on the 12 that are in the book and bring our knowledge up to par with the book a little bit. And the first one being subscription traps.
Yes, we've even had one here just the other day about subscriptions. People call you on the phone, and they'll say that you've won something, or you subscribe to the, like, Reader's Digest, and that's a big one that always seems to come up.
Oh yes.
If you have won something, like they'll say, we're going to send you so much money, You cash it, you keep so much of it, send 5,000 back to us, and then you'll never hear from them again. If you win, rightfully, they're going to show up and surprise you at your door.
Yep.
They're not going to say we need this much money up front and send us back this so we can get everything rolling on it.
Uh-huh.
They will show up. They won't just send and talk to you about it.
Yeah. Isn't that the deceitfulness of
It's very deceitful, and they'll ask you for another thing, they'll ask you for your credit card number and that. They don't need that. If you've already won, they've got your information.
Yes, yeah. So be very reluctant to share that.
I would not share any of that, for
That
sure.
brings us up to the second type of scam that they talk about in the book is identity theft.
Yes.
That's what they're searching for then? And
Yeah, they're searching for identity theft. They'll do that. They'll clean your account out real quick, and as soon as, like if you're talking to them there and you give them that number, they're already on the works of going into your account and taking money out of it before you ever hang up the phone. And you may never know if it's, and sometimes when they call, it could be later in the day, so the banks aren't open. But there is a 24-hour call that you can make to any bank, and they will give you the information if anything's been taken out of your account, and hopefully try to get some of that reversed. But some banks are saying, well, it's like the amount of money that people are getting, it's unreal.
But in terms of identity, once you give your identity out, there's no way of retracing or retracting that.
You can't retract that, and they use that to go on to other things and use your identity. And it's hard to get anything back from that.
Yeah.
Very hard.
The message is just don't give your identity out to anybody.
I would say nobody.
No, don't trust anybody.
If you don't know that person, don't give it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a tough one. There's another form of scams, and maybe it wouldn't be as prevalent here in Neepawa probably, but CEO scams, big business, where within big businesses people are getting scams set up and retaining money from employees that have authority to write checks or to issue money, thinking it's their CEO that's instructing them to do that.
Yeah, they will do that. We haven't had any of those here right now. Cross our fingers and toes.
Yes.
But it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there, and once you get that, it's gone. And it again, what we're finding, a lot of it leads back to Toronto. And Toronto, when we've checked on that, it's gone back to India. So when it goes that way, it's pretty hard to follow. And they take so much out, like or get you to write so much. They know how much you can probably write out and not be compromised by anybody.
Which in a lot of cases would be several $1,000s.
Yes, some could be up to like 50,000 or more.
Yeah,
you know. So and nothing would question that because that would be everyday operations. Yeah. So they know exactly how much they can go for, and after a certain amount, it's questioned by the banks or anything. How come you took this much out?
And then just carrying on in the numerical order of the book here, one comes up as health and medical scams, and there's three very common parts of this scam, and of course miracle cures, we're all aware of those, and weight loss programs, which I'm quite interested in, and fake or online pharmacies. But it's amazing how many people are overweight, for example, or are looking for a miracle way of feeling better. We're all gullible.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's any really miracle way. I know, if you feel like you're overweight or anything like that, or you have problems, go to your local doctor. Go to a nutritionist and locally and stuff, and they'll set you up on something.
Yes.
And I mean, there's the Weight Watchers plan that's out that you can see that online. Anything like that, if you have a computer, or you can get a book on that.
Yeah.
Follow that. Don't give any of the information out, and try to buy some stuff, because a lot of times that stuff doesn't show up. Yeah. So you might lose weight that way, because if you haven't got any money to pay for your food, I guess.
And it kind of boils down to that old saying: if it sounds too good to be true, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. If it's too good to be true, it's too good. It's not going to be there.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
So, therefore, we as citizens should rely on our gut instinct as much as anything.
Yes. Yeah. We should, and I know that again. I'm going back to the elderly because they're just so trustworthy people.
Yeah.
And they always wanted to help. That's the way everybody was brought up, to help everybody else if they can. Please don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, another one that has come up, and we mentioned it earlier, is, and I wasn't aware of this one at all, was the romance skills, or the scams rather, sorry. And apparently there's quite a bit of that.
There's a lot, I know, and just mentioned from what we have dealt with a lot through the Philippines is a person wants to come over, and I know from the Philippines to Canada, and I've known of probably 4 or 5 people that sent over $10,000 and more. Some's up almost up to $100,000 they sent to bring these people over, and they don't show up, but the money's gone, and we can't get it back. It's gone.
It's gone.
And I know some people, one in particular is on the verge of losing their home because of this. Yeah.
It's just hard to believe, isn't it?
It
Or at
is.
least I find it hard to believe
Yeah.
that that's actually happening right here in our community.
Yeah, it is happening right here, like I said, right in Nipawa.
Yeah, right in Nipawa. Well, and of course there's lots of different forms of business scams that go on, and I know they're happening here in Nipawa too, probably, but to a lesser extent, or are they quite common?
Business scams, we haven't had a lot dealt with that way. We had with the CRA, of course, Canada Revenue Agency, where they're calling and they're asking, the RCMP is going to come and with a warrant to arrest you if you don't pay this much money at a certain time. That's a false. If we're going to come to arrest you, we're not going to call you and let you know we're coming.
Yeah.
We're going to show up at your door again. And the CRA, they will never call and ask. They're just going to show up. I mean, they're a big, powerful organization, as we know. We pay enough taxes to them, but they're going to show up. They're not going to call and ask you for your identification again, which is a lot of it's your social insurance number. Well, if anybody knows, they have your social insurance number already.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't even be asking for that, or even to verify it. No, if you don't give them that out whatsoever, your social insurance number, never give that out.
And there again, on that note, when we were talking about people being trustworthy, don't feel bad about saying no. I'm thinking at this point.
Exactly. And if you have a problem with that, them calling you, call our office, and we can fill you in on the, it's a scam or it's not a scam. But especially if we're supposed to be involved, we're not. So I haven't had them come to our office and say, "Hey, can you come with me? We're going to this house." Never.
Yeah. One form of scam, or 2 forms really, is phishing and smishing. Those 2 words aren't in my vocabulary, Mark, so I don't know when they come upon the scene, but phishing and smishing, do you have any experience with that?
Not a lot. I know that they will go out there and they'll fish for all the information they can get from you, and your credit card, and they'll even ask for the number on the back. That's one of the main things they ask for. It's the number on the back of your credit card. It's a 3-digit number.
Oh, yes.
So if they get that, then they've got access to your accounts.
So that type of scam would be predominantly on the internet or a digital communication at some point.
Yeah, or like over the phone even.
Oh, yes.
They'll do it over the phone as well.
Oh, either cell phone or text. And that's where the smishing comes in, I think. Part of it is it's everybody has it, not everybody, but a lot of people have cell phones.
Yeah.
So they can be victimized very easily.
Very easily, and a lot of people they don't have landlines anymore.
Yeah.
So it's mostly a lot of cell phones. Yeah. So they'll be out there and they'll call, and even like I get these calls all the time on my work phone, which is an unlisted number, blocked number, and everything else. But I play along with them sometimes for a little bit and keep them on there. And somebody said, "Oh, I'm glad you called. I'm a vacuum salesman, and I got this vacuum cleaner, and keep them on the line for about 15 minutes. So that means maybe somebody else isn't going to get scammed." Then they get mad at me and hang up.
Yeah. Well, I guess if a person knows what to say, they would hang up quicker than not. But but we don't, the average person doesn't, not
No.
aware of that.
And one of the big things that they've been using too that we've noticed is like local numbers. They can use a local number from Nipawa, but calling from another country.
How do they do that?
They go and they buy a lot of numbers. They go into the system and they just get all these numbers, and it might be even a mistake why they start dialing. And if somebody answers, and they'll go from there. But some of them, again, with one of the big scams too is what we've having is somebody calling up and saying, I'm your nephew. I need help. I've been in a car accident. I need this much money. Can you send it to me, auntie, or can you send it to me, grandma? That's a big scam. One of the ones I had was this person. It was called up, and the person needed $1,000. So they had to get him in play cards. So they told her to go to the Western Union. So the person came over to the Western Union and bought $1,000 worth of these play cards. Had to go back at a certain time, call them up. They in turn said scratch them and get the number. As soon as they get the number, they got the money.
Yep.
And so when I got involved, I went to the house and she had $700 that was already given out.
Wow.
And the other one she hadn't scratched yet. So I talked to the guy on the phone, and he didn't really want to talk to me. And I said, well, you're saying it to the RCMP officer. And he says, you're no RCMP officer. And so, yeah, and I said, I even gave him my badge number. And he asked for it, and I gave it to him. And he got mad, and he hung up on me. Well, it wasn't any more than 3 minutes later. He called back. Or I shouldn't say he. The person called back and was talking to me. Now it's a nephew that wanted to talk to his aunt. And I said, oh, you sound like the same person who just called here like 10 minutes ago I was talking to, and they hung up right away and never did call back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they'll try everything. Everything they'll try. Because to them, they're not out anything. If they get something, it's a plus for them.
Yeah. And they sound so genuine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what gets me is some of the calls I've got, they sound very genuine.
Oh, yeah. And they know, I don't know, some research, whatever they've done, but they know maybe what your nephew or your son's names are. And how they get that, I am not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But they know.
Well, another one is tax scams, and you mentioned Canada Revenue Agency, but there is quite a number of those, isn't there? Like, it's common, isn't it?
It's common. It's very common. Yeah, they, especially this time of year, where people, you're looking from April, when people have to pay their taxes, or if they got a payment plan or something like that, they're really coming at people and saying, no, we need this now. It has to be paid up. By all means, this isn't true. Again, they're gonna send you something in the mail. They're gonna have stuff. They're gonna work with you before they ever try any of that.
Yep.
But they're not gonna tell you that we're coming here and we're going to come to your house and we're gonna arrest you. The RCMP is gonna come and arrest you or send them right away.
Yep.
So I always ask them, do you always call the RCMP office for us to go and arrest ourselves? And then again they hang up.
Yeah.
But
So what is your advice to people that if they pick up the phone and someone on the other end says it's CRA?
if they say it's CRA, they're not going to call you. I would say, no, I don't believe you, and hang up.
Just hang up.
Hang up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of that is being traced back to other countries.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot, we've got multicultural all over Canada, but a lot is what we're finding is from East India. And they did break up a big scam down in East India here probably like 4 or 5 months ago. And things kind of quieted down. I think they're starting to pick up a bit now. So they always come up with something, not just East India, but everybody. If they would put as much energy into coming up with scams, how they can scam people, and put that into their everyday work life of normal working, they would probably be very, very rich or good at that. But not, scamming people it makes me mad because it's usually the elderly that gets the scam, and the elderly, some just have the means to get by month to month now, with the cost of living and everything that goes up and that. So don't believe what they're saying on the phone. Don't give out any information of your insurance number, social insurance number, accounts, Visas, MasterCards, any of that. Don't give anything out. And same with on the internet. A lot of people type it in. And I know one person here just a couple weeks ago, they had a virus they said on their computer. So this, as soon as they're into it, this pop-up comes up. We can fix your virus. Here's my number. Call us. So they did, and they thought, okay, we must have a virus because their computer was slow.
Yep.
So they did that, and then the next thing what happened is they checked, and there was $13,000 drawn off their account. They said you have to pay. I think it was $49.99, but $13,000 was drawn off their account.
And that was local,
That
right
was
here
local.
in Nivois,
Right
just last week, right?
A couple of weeks ago, right in
Couple
Nipois.
weeks ago,
Yep, right in Nipois. But they got to it in time that the banks did reverse it. If they would have been probably a day or so, they would have lost the $13,000.
And that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. But if you have anything wrong with your computer or anything like that, take it to some place where you can get it checked out, get the antivirus put on it, get it cleaned is what they call it. Get it cleaned. Don't press the buttons. Start pressing the buttons and hover over, and by then it's too late.
Yeah. Oh, it's just it's amazing how slick these people are, right? And
Oh yeah.
the other another form of scamming is, and I've witnessed it here at our door, right here in Nipois too, is and it's a younger person that would surprise me. It was a young lady come to the door, and the door-to-door scam is happening right here. Now, that's not local people that's going door to door?
No,
obviously.
it's we haven't found any local people with that. If they don't have, some will have a pass that's saying they can come in and they have authority to do door to door. The only way they have authority to do door to door is if they're in the town, they have to go to the town and get a permit from them to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and if they don't do that, they can't go door to door, whether they're local or not. They can't go door to door.
Oh.
So the best thing is check with the town. They would have it on record that this person has come in and applied for a permit to go door to door. And there's certain things I think the town will and will not let them go door to door. So if you do have a problem, give us a call, and we would definitely will show up and question these people and find out what's going on.
One of the common elements of conversation with these door-to-door, I've heard and I've experienced too, is they are actually looking for donations to a charitable organization. And initially, I and a lot of other people probably think, well, maybe I should donate to that. But then you got to stop and think about it, and
Yes.
it's not the place to donate. That door-to-door, those days are gone, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I think if you want to donate, you know who you donated to in the past or stuff like that, and go and donate in person. That's a safe way. But as soon as you give your credit card and stuff like that, then who knows what could happen. Yeah.
You're wide open for other
You're
scams
wide
too.
open, yeah.
Yeah, well, emergency scams, and you touched on this one, where a scammer will phone and demanding money, or it's your son or grandson or nephew. That is quite common, that one, isn't it?
That is very common. More common in the last probably year. It's been more common than not. And it's hard to say. Like, some people will say, that it does sound like my grandson or my nephew or my son even. But check with them first, because I know one person did that and was prepared to send the money when the son walked through the door. And she said, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here." I said, "No, I'm not. Nothing ever happened to me. I've always been. I never went anywhere.
Yep.
I've been here."
Yep.
So, and then it's click right away.
Yep.
But that person could have been out some money if he never walked through that door.
But I can feel the natural instinct. If you get a call from a son, daughter, grandson, niece, nephew, family member, your initial response is, yeah, how much,
Yeah.
what can I do to help?
Yeah, and we notice a lot of calls are at night too when this comes in. So whether the person is sleeping and getting woke up.
Yeah.
So and as we all know, And anybody who gets woke up in the middle of the night, kind of a little groggy, and oh yeah, and you rush and try to get it so it's
Yeah.
looked after, right?
Yeah.
But again, don't do it unless you are 100% sure that something is wrong.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is to make sure. Eh?
Yeah.
The last couple of scams that we wanted to talk about was one being a purchase of merchandise and the sale of merchandise. Could you just touch on those two, Mark, a bit? And
Yeah, we just had one kind of yesterday that came through the Facebook merchandise where a person was selling their dog locally in town, and they wanted $500 for it. It was a purebred, and because they were moving, so they said that give us $250 now, e-transfer me the $250, and then you can pay the $250 when you come to pick up the dog. So they kept asking, okay, where do I meet you? It's Neepawa. So where in Neepawa? 239 Mill Street. I said, okay. And then somebody must have saw this and clicked in and said, well, that's the police station, 239 Mill Street. So we had nobody come to our door. No one lived in our cells there. So
wow.
So it was a fraud
Yeah.
for sure. And
Yeah.
they'll try that. Others that we've had is some people will come in and they'll set up their little vans, and they have TVs in it or cell phones to sell. Be very skeptical
Yep.
about that. Don't. I wouldn't buy anything from the back of a vehicle in any parking lot anywhere.
Yeah.
Even if this is a good deal, it might be a deal now, but it most likely is probably stolen property too.
Yeah. And at the rate these things are happening, that is becoming the common sense of the day, isn't it?
It is.
Just
Yeah.
not to participate in that type of venture.
And I think if we don't participate in that aspect of it, then maybe they won't show up in this town.
Yeah.
Say, well, no one's going to buy anything, which you shouldn't buy anything from the back of a vehicle in a parking lot,
Yeah.
unless it's vegetables.
Yes. Yeah, that's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they could. Well, who knows?
Well,
Maybe they can scam.
they
that
may.
too. Yeah.
But yeah, any merchandise like that, unless you know the person 100%, don't. And I guess maybe I'm in the field where you're dealing with some of this all the time, so you're not as trustworthy as maybe you would be, like not dealing with it all the time.
Yep.
But and again, I'm going back to some of the elder people are very, very trustworthy, and
I know,
and they just want to help people out.
they want to help
And I've
everybody out.
seen some elderly people buy stuff just for the fact of to help persons out,
Yeah.
So please don't.
In summing up, Mark, to report a attempted scam is important.
Yes.
We have touched on that, and there's several places that you can report to, RCMP being one.
One. Yeah.
And you have shared another number
It's the phone
with us
busters.
here.
Yeah.
And it's called Phone Busters, and that'll be on our screen, and it's 1-888-495-8501. And I think for interest's sake, it might be worth just keeping that number around, or don't feel shy or embarrassed to phone the RCMP if you have an attempted scam or fraud.
Yeah. By all means, give us a call. We'll look into it and see if we can come up with something. And especially if somebody, don't call us after they've left. If you're going to buy something, call us right away, because after they're gone, we may never see them again.
Yeah.
So if somebody is in town and doing that, call us right away,
Yeah.
and we can check them out.
We can check them out. Well, with that note, Mark, we're going to conclude our program here today, and I thank you very much for taking the time to join us and talking about scamming. And it is prevalent, and I want to make everybody aware of the information in this book. It's entitled The Little Black Book of Scams, and if you're interested in getting a copy, contact Ginny Barnaby at the hand office, and if she doesn't have any copies left on hand, she can give you the information as to where we can get one for you. And with that, I'm going to sum it up and say knowledge is power, and this book, and hopefully our chat today, gives us a little more knowledge and insight into scamming and frauds taking place right here in our local community. Well, with that, I'd like to thank each and every one of our viewers for joining us today, and until next time, my name's Lyle Watson. Have a good day.